Hey everybody, what's going on? It's James here with Crypto Common Sense, and I have your Bitcoin/cryptocurrency update for Monday, April the 13th. Before I jump into the content for this video, please do me a huge favor, hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and of course don't forget to click that bell icon to get notifications when I release new updates. Also, don't forget, if you haven't already, you can check the description for a link to join my Patreon. It's just $4.95 a month. I do more frequent updates in there, including updates like this one, where I warn people about a possible move towards $7,200. So at the time, price was sitting just above $6,900. I believe it was $6,939. And I said, look, we've got this double top on the daily chart, and Bitcoin likes to retest its double tops necklines. That neckline's at $7,200, and of course, we know that price pumped up to $7,200.01 on Coinbase. So that's the reason the Patron is there. I can do more frequent updates. Instead of doing 1 or 2 videos a week, I can do 3, 4, 5 videos a week some weeks, and kind of give people a more accurate and timely overview of the market. So again, check the description. There'll be a link down there. It's just $4.95 a month. So guys, this one's going to be a pretty short one today because Bitcoin is kind of in this no man's land right now. Even though you guys know that I've been pretty hardcore bearish over the last 9 months or so. Right now it's really tough to say what's going to happen. First things first, at the beginning of last week, I never expected to see a 4th green candle on the weekly. That totally surprised me, right? I thought we'd throw a wick up and then move back down and end up closing with a red candle. So that did not happen. Now what did happen was we closed with a gravestone doji. A gravestone doji's just a candlestick pattern. It's got the little short body on it and then the long wick coming out of the top. And it's typically a reversal signal. It is bearish in nature, but by itself it's not enough reason to take a trade, right? So I'm watching this with a lot of interest because on the weekly chart we are sitting right at resistance, right? In fact, let me adjust this chart because this price line is making it hard to see. Okay, so we're sitting right under resistance at $6,908. We closed right at it, at the end of last week, yesterday. And of course, we're sitting right under resistance on the yellow RSI trend line as well. So on the weekly, very muddled picture. It's sitting right at resistance. It could, turn back south for sure. And that would end up being this case of, low, lower high, and then we'd be heading down toward a lower low most likely. But when you zoom into the smaller time frames, it's a much less clear picture. There's a whole lot going on that really makes this hard to call. And this is, there are those times where it's like even I just sit back and I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea where this thing is going. And right now it's kind of one of those times because like I said, we're sitting at resistance. We just put in 4 candles. We've got this gravestone doji. All that looks, bearish to me. It's like, man, are we really going to put in a 5th green candle with all the stuff going on in the world and with the overall bearish structure? Seems unlikely, but not impossible. We still have that 19-week moving average sitting up around $7,800. So maybe we still get a move up to test that. Of course, we still have our Fibonacci levels if we draw them on there. Turn the magnet on. That's up around $7,976. This is 61.8. So there are some reasons where I could see it pumping up there and still being a corrective move before further downside. But, I'm not comfortable enough to take a long. I don't see a reason to take a long on this weekly chart. But I also don't see a reason to take a short on the weekly chart right now. If we zoom in to a 3-day chart, it's more of the same, right? Technically speaking, after this down move, we have been in an uptrend. We've got up. We've got down, we've got a higher high, and so far, this is a higher low. Unless it breaks $6,400 roughly, right, it's going to be a higher low, which means that technically on a 3-day chart, this is an uptrend, okay? If we look at RSI, we broke back into this bear market box. I really didn't expect us to break into the box so quickly back here, but we broke into it. We found resistance at our blue line. We broke above it, found support like we talked about last week. We moved up to the yellow line like we talked about, last week, and we've bounced off of it. But we're still above the blue line of support, right? So it's really hard to get bearish on this smaller time frame. And by smaller time frame, I'm talking about like the immediate, like the next couple of weeks, right? When I look at this, it's tough. It's tough to say, okay, this is bearish. So I'm sitting back. I'm not taking swing shorts again, right? The swing short opportunity was up around 7,300. There was also a really nice opportunity on the retest at 7,200. But, any shorts that I ran, like I was in a short last night, closed, right? Not sitting in any short positions right now. I'm waiting. So that's the 3-day chart. If we zoom in even further and we take a look at the daily chart, it's even more of the same kind of confusion. I have 2 weeklies for some reason. I don't know why. So here's the daily chart. On the daily chart, we had this rising wedge in price. We also had this rising wedge in RSI. Obviously, we broke south of both of those. We came up for a perfect retest of the 50-day moving average, right? And we bounced down off of it. But just like with the 3-day chart, I'm going to turn all the indicators off so it's a little easier to see and put this on a line chart. Technically speaking, we've got high, higher, low, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And so far, all we've done is put in a higher low. We have not put in a lower low yet. We've not lost this level back here. So it's hard to be overly bearish when looking at the daily chart. Now, my gut is still bearish. My bias is still bearish. But these charts could definitely go either way. And I just think it's important to understand that, right? We do have the 200-day moving average sitting up around $8,049. Again, that's awful suspicious. The fact that it's sitting right inside of the golden pocket. If you draw this up, golden pocket's right here between 79.76 and 81.89. Also, this red trend line right there lines up. So I don't know, could I see this going all the way up here and just completely screwing the bears? Yeah, I could. I could see it. I'm not going to long it, right? I don't see a long there. I'm just being mindful of the fact that this smells, right? It definitely stinks like something fishy is up, okay? So I'm just being conservative right now, okay? Same old story, right? When I can't find trades on the weekly or the daily, or when I don't feel comfortable trading them, I move down to the 6-hour and 4-hour. If I don't feel comfortable with anything I see there, I just move down to the hourly. And if I don't feel comfortable there, I move down to the 5-minute, and I start scalping for 0.5%, 1% moves, right? And that's kind of been the name of the game. And there have been a bunch of those lately that have been fairly easy to get. So that's my plan for right now, is until this thing reveals itself, I'm going to just stick to the smaller time frames, okay? I don't really see any reason to be going short right now. I just don't. This is a 6-hour chart. This is the RSI trend line that I've been watching, right? I had a little false dip underneath it last night, just before I went to bed. And you can see right here, it found support on top of it, and it's trying to move up off of it. That's what I'm saying on the 6-hour. On the 4-hour, we had this long-running trend line. Same deal, right? It had bearish tones through here where it was bouncing off of it, had the false break above it. And right now, we're just barely underneath it, right? So which way does this go? Is this getting ready to break north? Maybe, right? Or is it getting ready to go south? Maybe. What I'll wait for on a case like that is I'll wait for the candle to close. It closes in 3 hours and 11 minutes. And depending on where that closes at, it might or might not give me an entry point for like a 1 or 2 day trade, right? A trade that I get in with the intention of getting out in 12 hours or 24 hours or 36 hours, etc. But I'm not really seeing any great position or swing trades right now. That's my personal opinion. You may see something different. Other traders may see something different. But you guys have to remember that I err on the side of caution. I always err on the side of capital preservation so that I don't blow up my trade fund or take huge hits in my trade fund. Okay? But so far in the smaller time frames, it's a muddled mess. On the larger time frame, this does look like it's trying, keyword trying, to put in a lower high here before further downside, right? So time will tell. I'm sorry that I don't have more definitive information for you or more definitive direction that I think the market is going, but it's just one of those things right now where you don't always know, and sometimes you just have to be patient and let the market reveal itself to you. When I take a look at the S&P 500, it still looks like a dead cat bounce to me. So, of course, more downside in the stock market would make me think more downside is coming in crypto as well. But, there's no guarantees. Let me get off this 12-day chart and look at a weekly chart. And actually, let's make this. Yeah, we can do weekly. Let's see. Do we got a trend line? This looks like a weekly trend line on RSI. It's probably not exact unless I zoomed in and lined it up, but close enough, right? Looks like a little false break here, and it looks like it is above it, so that's kind of good news on the weekly. But then when I zoom into the daily, right, what I actually end up seeing is this thing just retesting this old line of support, right? This was support through here, breaks south, come up, almost looks like a bearish retest right there. So that's confusing, right? It's like, okay, well, that's bearish. And then if I go back here and I start drawing RSI trend lines, right, that one looks bullish, like we were bouncing off of it. But you could also draw one that looks like this, right, above it. So that one looks good. And then some people might say, okay, well, what about this one right here? That one don't look so hot, right? And they're all legitimate. They're all valid, right? There's all these lines, and it's just kind of the one that you trust and the one that you want to play, right? When we get down to these lines, I would look to them for support. But when we're up here at this line, I look at it as resistance. And again, the fact that it's lining up with this resistance up here, it's a little sketchy to me, okay? So we'll see, guys. Downside in the stock market so far has revealed itself to also be downside in Bitcoin. And when the stock market is pumping, that has shown itself to be good for Bitcoin lately. So we will see. All right. The one thing I would say, guys, is just be patient. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I've talked about it until I'm blue in the face. It is the most important part of trading. Be patient. Don't rush into trades. Don't feel like you have to be in a trade 24/7. Over trading is the easiest way, or one of the easiest ways, to lose money. Okay. If you're patient and you pick your spots, you can really do well. I mean, just as an example, guys, I've been trading crypto. Next month is 3 years, but I only started trading stocks in the early part or the mid part, like probably April, May of last year, right? So like 1 year of stock trading. And what was interesting to me is when I look at my stock portfolio, most people are down big right now. Even though this has been pumping the last couple of weeks, most people are still down big because the stock market is still down about 18 to 19% from its high, right? I'm not. My stock portfolio is actually up about 8 to 9%, right? Now, yes, it did take a dip when this dipped, right? Everything I was holding took a dip, but because I was able to take some trades and make some moves during that time using proper risk management, proper money management, my portfolio is actually about 8 to 9% higher now than it was before this dump, right? Which means that if it does move back up, it's going to be up even more, right? And all that just comes down to the things I learned from trading for the last 3 years. I mean, at this point, I would say that if I did the math, I'm probably sitting somewhere around 13 to 14,000 hours of trading, right? They say 10,000 hours to master something. I don't know if that's the case or not, but hours wise, I'm probably sitting at 13, 14,000 hours. Trade wise, I've taken thousands of trades, right, in both stocks and crypto. And the one thing I can say, guys, is markets aren't going anywhere, right? You don't need to feel FOMO about getting into long or FOMO into a short. There will be opportunities forever, at least unless something catastrophic happens, like an asteroid hits the earth or something, right? As long as markets are there, there's going to be opportunity. The only way you can really miss the opportunity is if you blow yourself up and lose all of your money and you have no money to trade with. As long as you are taking smart trades and being patient and getting your money in good, sure, you might not be the guy that's on the Forbes 500 talking about how you made millions of dollars in the stock market, but you have to understand that most people don't have the money to make millions of dollars, right? If you are making millions of dollars trading, then you should already have 7 figures to trade with, okay? If you're using proper risk management, proper money management, you should already be trading with 7 figures if you're making 7 figures, okay? For people that start out and you hear these stories about the guy that started out with like $3,000 and turned it into $1 million, they're luck boxes, guys. It's 1 in a million chance where you happen to get in on a really crazy leverage long position. And, like for example, in 2017, let's say that you longed Bitcoin at, $1,000 with 100x leverage. Sure, you got stupid rich, but it was no more than a lottery ticket getting punched, right? And I read a story the other day about a guy who made, I think it was $4 million in 2017, and he lost every penny of it in 2018 because he kept trying to trade the same way and didn't use money management, didn't use risk management, etc. And he thought that he was untouchable because he had turned such a small amount of money into such a large amount of money. if you want to be successful long term, you'll use proper risk management, and your growth curve will not look like this. Your portfolio growth curve will look more like this. Slow and steady wins the race, right? Like my stock portfolio was looking like this, had the, and then now it's back up here again, right? If I had been over leveraged, it would have looked like this, right? And I'd be screwed. I wouldn't have any money to come back from. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up there. Like I said, if you're not already a member of the Patreon, make sure you check the description. I really appreciate those of you that are already joined. It's just $4.95 a month. I try to make it so affordable that nobody would miss that money. And that way I know that I'm giving them immense value and that they're getting way more out of it than what they're spending. So check the description. You'll get more frequent updates, more frequent chart posts, as well as videos. And of course, heads up when I see a move in the market coming, like that move towards $7,200. Also, please remember that, guys, while I do trade full-time for a living, I am just some guy sitting in a spare bedroom. So nothing in the video is trade advice. Nothing in the video is financial advice. You should always seek out professional investment advice from a licensed financial advisor before making any type of investment in cryptocurrency or the stock market. This is James with Crypto Common Sense, reminding you to please trade safe.